Today we are going to learn laboratory preparation of hydrochloric acid, which is HCl acid. Last video we discussed laboratory preparation of hydrogen chloride gas. Now you know how to prepare hydrogen chloride gas in the laboratory. After preparation, if this gas is dissolved in water, then we get hydrochloric acid. It's same laboratory preparation of hydrogen chloride gas, and instead of collecting in glass jar, if we pass this gas through the tube to water, it will dissolve in water and give hydrochloric acid. But it's not that simple. There is a small problem over there. What is the problem over there? If the gas, HCl gas, which is coming from the apparatus, the tube is directly immersed in water and allowed this gas to dissolve directly in water, then what happens? HCl, you all know that HCl is highly soluble in water. 1 part of water can dissolve 450 parts of HCl, okay, hydrogen chloride gas. So the hydrogen chloride gas which is coming from the apparatus will go into water and will dissolve immediately in water. The rate of dissolution is very high. So what happens? Entire gas gets dissolved, and meantime there won't be more gas coming from the apparatus because the rate of dissolution is very high. As a result, it creates a vacuum in this tube. Okay? So because of this vacuum, and there is no gas, so there is vacuum, the pressure goes down. So there is low pressure over here. Now here the atmospheric pressure is high. This high pressure will force this water to move into this tube, that because we know liquids move from higher pressure to lower pressure. So as a result, this water will rise in this tube. Okay, so and eventually may go to the apparatus, and the apparatus will break. This back rise of water into this tube or reverse movement of water is known as back suction. Back suction. Okay. So what is happening? Back suction is taking place. So this water will go back to the glass apparatus which is hot, and the apparatus will break. So to avoid this, so this kind of arrangement is not possible. What is to be done to avoid this back suction? A small arrangement is done which is known as inverted funnel arrangement, or simply you can call it as funnel arrangement also. Inverted funnel arrangement. This is also called as funnel arrangement. So this is what inverted. The funnel is in inverted position. What is done? So that same a tube with the help of a rubber tubing, funnel is connected. Now what is done? The lower rim of the funnel is immersed in water in such a way that this funnel enters in water for below 2 millimeter from the this is surface of water. From here it is 2 millimeter. So the rim of the funnel goes inside water below the surface of water to 2 millimeter. Okay. Now what happens? This HCl gas which is coming from the apparatus goes through this funnel to the water. Again dissolution will take place. Now HCl gas will dissolve in water. As a result, back suction will take place. Now due to this back suction, the water will go into the funnel and fill this funnel. Once the water goes inside the funnel, the level of water will go down because this much water will get inside the funnel. So the level of water in the beaker will go down. As a result, the funnel will float over water. It will expose to air. So see here, the funnel is dipped inside the water. Now water has entered inside. This is sucked water. So the water has gone inside, though the funnel is floating. It is not touching the surface of water. So no more water can go inside the funnel. So the bag suction will stop. Now meantime, more and more HCl gas will start coming from the apparatus and dissolve the water which is there inside this funnel. It will keep on dissolving till this solution becomes saturated. Saturated hydrochloric acid or solution of hydrogen chloride. After that, this HCl gas will start pushing this solution back to the beaker. So because of this push, this water will come inside, the solution will come inside this beaker, and again the level of this liquid in the beaker will rise and this funnel will get immersed to 2 millimeter. Same way again back suction will take place. The solution will go into the funnel, coming up HCl gas will dissolve in that, later it will push it down, again funnel will dip. This process will keep on going till we get concentrated solution of hydrogen chloride or this acid gets concentrated. So this is how hydrochloric acid is prepared from hydrogen chloride gas, by dissolving in water but using this inverted funnel arrangement. Okay, now what are the advantages of this inverted funnel arrangement? It's very important question. What is the reason of using this inverted funnel? Yes, what are the advantages, and what happens if we don't use a funnel, directly dissolve in water, or if we are using the funnel, how can we avoid this back suction and breaking of the apparatus? Now what are the advantages of using this inverted funnel arrangement? The first advantage is it prevents back suction. So it prevents back suction of water into the apparatus. Second one, the mouth of the funnel, inverted funnel, it increases the surface area. Okay, so more dissolution. So it provides large surface area for dissolution of gas. So more the surface area, larger surface area, so dissolution will be more, so dissolution will be better. Okay, so these are the two advantages. This comes for 2 marks along with this. Okay, so this diagrams and the reason and this inverted funnel arrangement advantages are very, very important. Next we will see properties of hydrochloric acid. First we will see physical properties of hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, if it is in pure form, it will be colorless. Okay, color of the acid, if you see pure hydrochloric acid will be colorless, but commercially available hydrochloric acid is slightly yellowish in color due to the presence of oxides of nitrogen. Now odor, it has a irritating pungent odor like hydrogen chloride gas. Taste, sour taste because it is acid. Action on skin, it's highly corrosive. Concentrated hydrochloric acid is highly corrosive and it gives a brown color stain or mark on skin if we come in contact with hydrochloric acid. Now we will see chemical properties of hydrochloric acid. Okay, chemical properties of hydrochloric acid are very, very important with respect to right equation. Okay, so first we will see what is chemical nature of hydrochloric acid. We can see with the help of indicators the same way as we did with hydrogen chloride gas. That means hydrochloric acid will turn blue litmus paper into red, methyl orange, orange to pink, and alkaline phenolphthalein pink to colorless. These are the same way. Second comes acidic nature of hydrochloric acid. What is acidic nature of hydrochloric acid? You see the formula of hydrochloric acid is HCl. Okay, it is a polar covalent molecule. Now there is only one replaceable H. When this HCl is dissolved in water, HCl, if you dissolve in water, on dissolution it furnishes hydronium ion, which is only one. It furnishes only one hydronium ion. That means it is monobasic, its basicity is 1. That this hydronium ion or the replaceable hydrogen ion is responsible for the acidic nature of hydrochloric acid. Okay, so due to this it behaves or gives all the reactions which shows it is an acid. Now we will see as the acidic properties of hydrochloric acid. Now these are dilute acid properties. Now as I told you, dilute acid properties are different and concentrated acid properties are different. So during writing the equation, you must mention dilute word below the formula. So that's very, very important. So dilute hydrochloric acid properties we are going to learn, which are in a large number. So first we will see action with different types of substances. First of all, action with metals. Okay, metals from potassium to iron can displace hydrogen from dilute hydrochloric acid and they can make their own chlorides. For example, if you are taking zinc and treat it with dilute hydrochloric acid, it gives zinc chloride and hydrogen gas is given out. So this is how the metals will react with hydrochloric acid and liberate hydrogen chloride gas. Second one, reaction with metallic oxides. Metallic oxides, K2O, 2CuO. Any metallic oxide you can take. So if we are taking K2O and treat it with HCl, it will give KCl plus H2O. So it's like neutralization reaction. Okay, so salt and water will be formed. So this K2O is basic oxide. So metallic oxides will react and produce their salt and water. Then metallic or non-metallic, metallic or non-metallic hydroxides. Why I am saying non-metallic? Because ammonium hydroxide is non-metallic hydroxide which will react with HCl. Okay, so from potassium to copper or along with ammonium hydroxide will react with HCl, hydrochloric acid, and give salt and water. So if we are taking sodium hydroxide plus HCl, it will give NaCl plus H2O. So hydroxide and HCl will give salt and water. If we are taking ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH plus HCl, it will give NH4Cl, ammonium chloride plus H2O. So this is how metallic or non-metallic hydroxide react with HCl and give salt and water. Next we will see some other properties like reaction with metal carbonates. Now metal carbonates from potassium to copper, any metal carbonate will react in the same way with hydrochloric acid. Okay, so from potassium carbonate, so metal carbonates, how do metal carbonates react? Reaction with metal carbonates. For example, if we are taking sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, it will react with HCl. Okay, now what all with the product? Salt, water and carbon dioxide gas will be given out. So it will give NaCl plus H2O plus CO2. So metallic carbonate from potassium carbonate to copper carbonate, any metallic carbonate will react in the same way and give salt, water and carbon dioxide. Then comes next reaction, metal hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonates are bicarbonates. Now hydrogen carbonate from potassium to magnesium. Okay, hydrogen carbonate will react. So if I am taking KHCO3, this is potassium hydrogen carbonate will react with HCl and will give KCl plus H2O plus CO2. Again same kind of product like carbonate, hydrogen carbonate, same salt, water and carbon dioxide gas will be given out. Next reaction will be with metal sulfides. See, immediately after carbonate, if you learn about sulfide, you will find more or less similar, only the gas liberated is different. Here with carbonate, carbon dioxide with sulfide, sulfur dioxide gas will be given. Again, potassium sulfide to copper sulfide, any metal sulfide, if you take, like let us suppose I am taking calcium sulfide plus HCl, it will give salt, water and sulfur dioxide gas. Okay, salt, water and sulfur dioxide gas. Next we see metal hydrogen sulfides. Hydrogen sulfides like hydrogen carbonate, hydrogen sulfide. If you take potassium to magnesium, any hydrogen sulfide. So once again, if you take potassium hydrogen sulfide and treat it with dilute HCl, it will give KCl plus H2O plus SO2. So carbonate and sulfide, hydrogen carbonate, hydrogen sulfide, more or less similar, only the gas liberated is different. After this we will see the reaction with metal sulfides. What is sulfide ion? S2 minus. So metal sulfides, from potassium to copper, any metal sulfide if you take and treat with dilute hydrochloric acid, we get chloride salt of that metal and a gas is given out which has a rotten egg smell. You all know hydrogen sulfide gas. So any sulfide, for example, if I am taking iron 2 sulfide and treat it with HCl, dilute one, it will give FeCl2 plus H2S gas which has a rotten egg smell, hydrogen sulfide. So any metal sulfide will give hydrogen sulfide gas. These are reactions. Now some more dilute acid reactions we will see where precipitation takes place. Okay, if dilute hydrochloric acid is treated with silver nitrate, or rather we say silver nitrate is treated with dilute hydrochloric acid, then what happens? So next we will see the reaction with silver nitrate. Okay, so if we take silver nitrate solution and to that hydrochloric acid is added, it will react with silver nitrate. We get HCl. This is AgCl plus HNO3. So what is the special thing about this AgCl? This is a precipitate. Till now we were observing salt formation, they were all soluble salt and gas was coming out. Now here you see here AgCl, this is curdy white precipitate of silver chloride and nitric acid will be formed. Okay, this is curdy white precipitate of silver chloride. Another reaction of precipitation is with lead nitrate. Okay, if lead nitrate is soluble salt, you all know. So lead nitrate plus HCl will give PbCl2 plus HNO3. Now this PbCl2 is insoluble white precipitate in water at room temperature. If we heat, it will dissolve, but with room temperature water we take it as insoluble. So these two precipitates are formed. So with silver nitrate, curdy white precipitate, with lead also white precipitate of lead chloride will be formed. Another reaction is of hydrochloric acid is with thiosulfate. Now what is thiosulfate? You all know thiosulfate ion. Okay, S2O3. So sodium thiosulfate, if it reacts with sodium thiosulfate, Na2S2O3, it treated with dilute HCl, what happens? It gives sodium chloride. Obviously water will come out, sulfur dioxide and also colloidal sulfur will come out. So the reaction is NaCl plus H2O plus SO2 plus S. This is the reaction. Okay. So Na2S2O3, sodium thiosulfate, when reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid, it gives sodium chloride, water, sulfur dioxide and sulfur. So after the reaction, this clear solution will turn little bit turbid. Turbidity will be there because of this sulfur. Next we will see chemical properties of concentrated hydrochloric acid. Now till now we have done properties of dilute hydrochloric acid. Now we will see properties of concentrated hydrochloric acid. Now concentrated acid properties are different, as I told you all. Now when this concentrated hydrochloric acid reacts with metallic nitrate, take from potassium to copper, any metallic nitrate, when heated, okay, then we get nitric acid. Okay, metal nitrate, like if we are taking NaNO3 plus concentrated HCl, and heating is important, it will give NaCl plus HNO3 vapors. Okay, this will be HNO3 vapors because of heat. So this is how any metal nitrate, when heated with concentrated hydrochloric acid, we get nitric acid and that chloride of that particular metal. This is one of the property of concentrated hydrochloric acid. Another property of concentrated hydrochloric acid is aqua regia, preparation of aqua regia. Now what is aqua regia? Aqua regia is a mixture of concentrated hydrochloric acid and concentrated nitric acid, in which HCl and HNO3 are taken in the ratio concentrated 3:1. This mixture is called as aqua regia. And what is the special property of aqua regia? This aqua regia can dissolve noble metals. Noble metals like gold and platinum, which do not react with any other solutions or reagents. They react and get dissolved. What happens when this mixture, concentrated hydrochloric acid and nitric acid are mixed? This nitric acid is a very good oxidizing agent. So it oxidizes this HCl into nascent chlorine. What is nascent chlorine? Atomic chlorine. And that nascent chlorine will combine with that noble metal and form their chloride. So let us HNO3, we will see the equation HNO3 plus HCl. Okay, 1:3. So we are taking, this is also concentrated and this is also concentrated. Now when these two are mixed, what happens? NOCl, nitrosyl chloride, plus H2O plus Cl. This is nascent chlorine. Now here this will be 2 and it will be 2. So this is nascent chlorine which is given out, and this nascent chlorine will react with those noble metals if they are kept in this aqua regia. What happens if gold plus nascent chlorine will give AuCl3 auric chloride? If it is platinum plus this nascent chlorine will give PtCl4. So when these noble metals are kept in aqua regia, so they will get dissolved in aqua regia. This is one of the property of concentrated hydrochloric acid. Another one is reaction with oxidizing agents. Now the third equation or reaction, action of oxidizing agent or reaction with oxidizing agent. So HCl when reacts with oxidizing agent plus hydrochloric acid, which is concentrated, okay, on heating it gives salt, water and liberates chlorine gas. So react with oxidizing agent, concentrated hydrochloric acid will give chlorine gas. So let us see the available oxidizing agents and reaction of hydrochloric acid with that. MnO2, okay, this MnO2 is a very good oxidizing agent. When it is mixed with concentrated hydrochloric acid and heated, it will give MnCl2 plus H2O plus Cl2. So chlorine gas is liberated. MnO2 plus HCl, MnCl2 manganese, chloride, okay, and water and hydrogen gas is given out. Now this is also another oxide of lead. This is oxide of lead. Now see, it will react similar way, PbCl2 plus 2H2O plus Cl2 chlorine gas. So both reactions are almost similar to balance. Now this is called red lead, tri-lead tetraoxide, very good oxidizing agent. When heated with concentrated HCl, it gives PbCl2, okay, plus H2O and chlorine gas will be given out. So red lead or tri-lead tetraoxide, concentrated hydrochloric acid, PbCl2, water and chlorine gas. The fourth one we will see, potassium permanganate, KMnO4. When heated with concentrated hydrochloric acid, it gives two salts. One is potassium salt, another is this manganese salt. So it will give KCl plus MnCl2 plus H2O plus Cl2. Chlorine gas is liberated. And if you balance, it will be 2 KCl, 2 MnCl2, 8 H2O and 5 Cl2. So this is how. The last one is potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7, very good oxidizing agent. When heated with concentrated hydrochloric acid, it will also give two types of chlorides. One is potassium and another is chromium chloride. So it will give KCl plus CrCl3 plus H2O plus Cl2, chlorine gas. When we balance the equation, it will become 2 KCl, 2 CrCl3, 7 H2O and 3 Cl2. Okay, so these are reaction with oxidizing agents. Test for hydrochloric acid. How can you identify hydrochloric acid? Acid will give tests for acid, but whether it is hydrochloric acid or nitric acid or sulfuric acid, because all are colorless. So how will you identify that given acid is hydrochloric acid? First, with odor. It has a peculiar irritating pungent odor. We can make out with the help of that. And another one is with the help of a glass rod dipped in ammonia solution. Now ammonia and HCl will react and give dense white fumes of ammonium chloride. So if you take HCl in a test tube and a glass rod dipped in ammonium chloride is brought and kept near the mouth of the test tube, we get dense white fumes of ammonium chloride. This is one test. Another one is add this to silver nitrate. Reaction with silver nitrate with HCl, it will give curdy white precipitate. Dilute HCl will give curdy white precipitate of silver chloride. This is a test for hydrochloric acid. Now this curdy white precipitate, if you try to dissolve in nitric acid, it will not dissolve. But if you add ammonium hydroxide in excess, this curdy white precipitate of silver chloride will dissolve in that. So these are the tests for identification of hydrochloric acid. Now we will see uses of hydrochloric acid. What are the uses of hydrochloric acid? Hydrochloric acid can be used to prepare glucose from starch. Okay. Another one, glucose from starch, to extract glue from bones. It can be used in preparation of dyes and drugs. It is used for tanning of leather. It is used for pickling of metals. What is pickling of metals? Actually, metals react with the atmospheric oxygen and form their oxide, and small deposition of those oxides will be there on metallic surface. When we want to paint or galvanize, that means coating of another metal on that, this will not allow firm coating. So it is just to be cleaned. So this is removed using hydrochloric acid, treated with hydrochloric acid, concentrated one. So it is known as pickling. And as you all know, it is used in the laboratory. It is a very good reagent in laboratory. So these are the uses of hydrochloric acid. So this is end of chapter, hydrogen chloride gas and hydrochloric acid.